as with everything on this project, hindsight is 20/20, and clearly I'm wearing glasses. Hey everyone, I'm Grant and welcome back to the channel. In this video, it's going to be a little different than what I normally do. So, I've been doing a lot of work over the last 7 days and my SD card got corrupted and I lost about 4.5 days worth of work. So what I'm first going to do is just quickly go over all the things that I had done in those days, which was pretty much just getting in the parts for the cooling system. So I have been working on the cooling system and it is full of water right now. I don't have coolant in it because experience has taught me at some point before I get all this wrapped up, I'm going to have to drain the system again so it has water in it currently. The next thing that has happened, I have somehow locked up the turbo. And I did this, I think it was 2 nights ago, and I was actually doing this exact same intro going over how I lost the footage and I was going to show you everything I did, and I had the engine running, and I'll just go ahead and show the clip right here. Well, that's a first. And when it first happened, what I thought it was it just ran out of fuel, because I did forget to put the relay back in the relay box over there that controls the lift pump. I'm now thinking it was something else. I'm not really sure what happened to that turbo yet, and I don't want to make speculations as to what did happen until I take it apart. I had already ordered another turbo for the setup, and it's actually a GTC 1446 VZ, and it's off of a PD130 over in Europe. I think it was part of Volkswagen's TDI E-line for TDI economy or TDI efficiency. And what I like about this turbo is it's going to come on really low in the RPM. It's going to give me a lot of good low-end torque, but it really is geared towards fuel economy. The idea has always been to build something that was really fuel efficient for when I was traveling on the road or when I go wheeling, camping, and overlanding, which I do plan on doing with this rig. If I have to kind of look at this in a positive way, I do already have another turbo coming. Unfortunately, it's coming from Finland, so I don't know exactly when it's going to get here. But moving on from that, I have been doing a lot of work on the electrical on the interior of my TJ. Mostly getting rid of the excess wiring from the wiring harness from my Quick 6 controller for my Ford 6R80. Brings me on to what I am doing today with my rig. Since I now can't do anything really with the engine because the turbo is locked up, I'm going to focus my attention on getting the interior wrapped up. I'm going to set up time-lapse kind of high up, and I'm just going to get to work. Alright everyone, I have spent a couple hours now cleaning my tub and everything, and it's as clean as it's going to get. So now I'm going to work on installing this car sound deadening and using this roller to really press it in. I'm going to start at the back where it's the flattest and probably work my way forward. I'm planning on putting sound deadening up on the fender wells as well, all the way down forward, up underneath the pedals. So we're just going to see how this goes. Hey everyone, this is day 2 of me working on the sound deadening. I got to a good stopping point last night and I did, so now I'm going to try to fill up the rest of the areas as best as I can. I'm not sure how much I'm going to do. I have a whole nother box of this sound deadening, but I also don't want to open it up if I just have a little bit left, so we'll just see how far I can get. So I'm now into the evening of day 2 of working on this. I've put as much sound deadening on this as I want to. I've gone through the whole first box and I'm happy with the coverage. So I'm now going to move on to getting the carpets installed. So I have the carpet installed. I think this is actually the first time I've had the entire carpet installed. I still need to take this one out and trim it. It's obvious that this carpet was out of a left-hand drive, not a right-hand drive, because it's interfering with my AC components. And my side, the carpet is cut real low because obviously it was expecting all those boxes and AC components. So I'm going to do that real fast. But once that's done, I'm going to move the camera
And I think I'm going to start working on getting this dashboard reinstalled and getting all the wiring harness back in.
I have the dashboard back in, and I have to admit, it's great seeing my Jeep actually look like a complete Jeep again for the first time in a long time. But I still have a lot to do, and one of the first things I'm going to do is shorten this cable, which is my OBD2 port. I am going to be using this waterproof 6-pin connector, which is perfect because this is 6 wires. And the other reason why I'm doing this is inevitably I'm going to have to take this dash out again at some point for something. And by making it have these removable connectors, I won't have to unhook this connector from the dashboard. I'll just be able to undo it here and leave this bolted to the bottom of my dash. So I'm going to get to work. The following evening, and I'm back at it trying to get this dashboard wrapped up. So what I'm going to be working on is trying to get all the wiring in place. And the other thing I'm going to look into is actually routing all of this wiring for the transmission up here. So I think I am going to mount my TCU, the Quick 6, in here. I did mail it off today. Because of a personal preference, I'm actually getting the LCD screen changed from a blue OLED to a white OLED. I just don't like blue at night. I find it very blinding, and with it being white, I can actually put a film over it and change the color to something that's going to be easier on my eyes, like a red, a yellow, an amber, an orange, something like that. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and start time-lapse and just start figuring out how I'm going to mount all this and figure out if I have an easy way of routing all of these wires up into this hole here, which I think I have enough, but if I need to extend these a little bit, that's not going to be too terrible either. But with that said, I'm going to get to work. So there's a little bit of irony going on here. I lost the footage where I explained the reason why I was cutting this harness short and making it short, and then I realized, after getting the rest of this interior done, that I could have the transmission controller right here where the radio would have been. And there's a lot of advantages for that. The main one being, there's a lot of good information on that OLED screen, and having it where the radio is, I only have to barely take my eyes off the road and look where the factory radio would have been, versus taking my eyes off the road and looking down at my floorboard, which I was never comfortable with. And especially with the Gen 2 model of the Quick 6, it tells you so much more information. So, yeah, it's a little bit more crimping, it's a little bit more work, but
I'm getting really close to being done, hopefully, with this build after 4 years. And yeah, as with everything on this project, hindsight is 20/20, and clearly I'm wearing glasses. So, this is one of my favorite things about these connectors. I realized I was about to cut the wiring, and then I realized I could just take apart the connector, and that's what I did. Now, I'm not quite sure on the correct way to take apart these connectors, and I actually did destroy one of the 3-way connectors, but I have a whole bag of them. It's not that bag. I have a bag of them somewhere, so I'm not too worried about it. So what I'm going to do, where this used to have 3 connectors, I'm now going to fill it up with 2 8-pin connectors. And that way I can keep the length, and this I already had, because that's the perfect length that I need to get it to where the TCU is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this. Now I am going to take all the tape off of this because I need to move some of these wires around ever so slightly. I'm basically going to keep these wires here, but I'm moving these 2 wires out this way. Not for any particular reason other than I just want 2 groups of 8. So I'm going to undo all the electrical tape here, get some more of this tubing here, and figure that out. Once I get that done, then I'll work on all the other stuff. Alright everyone, I'm going to call it quits for the evening. It's pretty late here, but I really wanted to get all these extensions done and wrapped up. This is more than enough to get up to here now, which is really nice. But I need the length because there are a couple things I have to go around underneath the dash. So I am going to leave this out for the time being until I get my quick 6 back. But tomorrow I will pick up all of this again and figure out what I'm working on next. So see you tomorrow. Good night. And I'm back once again. So I'm going to continue work on getting this dashboard back together. Still a lot of pieces I need to put on. But yeah, I'm just trying to get the dashboard as back together as possible. And once I have those pieces on, I also need to fish that up through there. Then I think I'm going to work on installing the seats. And once I do all that, I believe that's all I can do for the time being, because after that I am waiting on parts. So anyway, I'm going to get to it. Alright everyone, that's all I have for this video. The interior is actually pretty much put back together. I still have a couple of things on the dashboard I need to take care of, but I'm waiting on a couple of small pieces to get here, and as soon as those get here I'll work on that. But I'm very happy with the progress, and as soon as one or two other components get here, specifically the turbo, I think we're going to get this thing on the road and running and driving very quickly. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.